Hi everyone, Happy New Year. Is it too late to say Happy New Year? My rule is that so long as I'm still writing 2025, you can still say Happy New Year. So Happy New Year and welcome to the Algoland Grand Prize Draw live stream. And this can count as a wrapping party as well. As you know, Algoland is now over, at least this season. And I'm going to start by walking you through how we use VRF in Algorand. So VRF stands for verifiable random functions. And the type of VRF that we are going to be talking about today has to do with developers and then end users having access to verifiably random values for their smart contracts on Algorand. So I'm actually going to start with the weekly draws that we did throughout Algoland because they are a little bit simpler to understand. And then I'm going to show you how the grand draw works. And then we're actually going to execute the grand draws for Algoland. So the weekly draws had slightly different rules than the grand prize draws. So every week, there were a number of users who completed all of their quests and then claimed their challenge badge on time. When they did that, they became eligible for the weekly prize draw. And the way that that works is that everyone who is eligible for a weekly prize has the same odds as everyone else. So in this way, it's a little bit simpler than the grand draw. On the site, management.algoland.co, we just published the transparency pages for both the weekly draws and the grand draws that we are about to execute. And in there, you can go and see basically how these winners were picked. So I chose week 13. And since it's actually quite small and that will serve me well in this demo. Okay. When we're talking about VRF, we basically want something to give us a provably random value. And this value can be expressed as base64. That's usually the representation that you're going to see in Explorers and so on. But you can also convert this to just a decimal number that your mom might recognize. In this particular draw, we have 356 accounts that are eligible. And so what the smart contract does after the VRF output is available is it'll take this very big number and it will take the remainder after dividing by 356. And then that's going to be the offset inside our candidates list of who actually won this prize. So here it's in offset 174, that's user ID, whatever that is. And so if we went to actually view their page, we would see that they would either have available or claimed a prize asset for that week. So the weekly draws are fairly straightforward. We basically order the users by their identifiers. This is an Algoland identifier starting at 1, much like a database would allocate. So we order them by increasing user ID. And then we just choose randomly one offset between 0 and 356 minus 1. For the grand prize draw, however, the rules are a little bit different because anyone who has scored any points throughout Algoland will have some shot of winning the grand draw. To put it another way, the points that you have accrued throughout Algoland translate to your odds of winning the grand prize draw. And so because we're talking about a draw with variable odds here, we need a different approach. So the approach for the grand prize draw is that we are basically adding up everyone's points, the points that everyone has won. And similarly to the weekly VRF, we add both the user IDs in ascending order, as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, but also their cumulative points. So this gives you a range of points from the output of the VRF, that a winning range for each user. So if the VRF came back with 75 as the value after we do modulo total points, then user ID 1 would be the winner of the VRF. If it came back with 90, it would be user ID 3. And yeah, so that's how this is going to work. A few things about the grand draw. We have 79,162 users, of which I have started the process to ingest into the grand draw smart contract almost all of them, because this is a process that took about 70 minutes. So I've left just the final bit to do live here. It should take just a couple of seconds, and then it is going to start executing for every prize that we have. Speaking of the prizes, aside from the 3 grand draw prizes that you are aware of, we've also reclaimed a lot of weekly prizes that were never claimed by their winners. And so there's going to be a number of extra draws, which is nice. And the final thing before we actually go to execute is that we're going to need about a day or two to run some legal and compliance checks before these results are considered final. But by all means, if you see yourself winning, then go ahead and celebrate. Okay, so this is going to be a little bit nonsensical to you, but I can talk you through what the output is. So we are going to fetch all of the user information right now so that we can get everyone's scored points, order them, and add all of the points into the cumulative points list that I showed before. So this should take another 15 or 20 seconds or so. It is getting 79,000 users worth of data from the blockchain. So after that, it's going to finish ingesting the couple hundred users that I had intentionally left out. And then the smart contract will pick around 8 rounds in the future. And that will be the base for the first prize to be drawn, and then the one after that for the second, and so on and so on. So 21 times. So here we should be fully ingested. I should say that this has not actually been tested with mainnet, as it's the first time that we are doing it. We have tested it extensively locally and a smaller run on testnet, but as always with live stuff, there's a risk of embarrassment here for sure. Okay, so this is the block that whose seed will influence the outcome of the draw, and it looks like we picked our first winner, and then we're going to be waiting for the next one and the next one and the next one. So as these blocks VRF output becomes available, more and more winners are going to be chosen. So let's see. Okay, we're going to leave this to run here, and then we are going to clear the cache and I think we need to wait for it to finish. So when the grand draw is finished, we're going to see a transparency page for every one of the draws, or at least that's the idea. It did work on testnet. So we're going to see something like this, and it will show what the transaction ID is that actually called the VRF, what the round is that whose seed influenced the outcome, the output in base64, the output in decimal, and then the actual mapping to the cumulative points array. Let's see. I'm not 100% sure if I actually cleared all of my data here. All right, let's try again. Okay, we are almost done. 19 out of 21, 20 out of 21. And in a few moments, we should see the last one. And that should transition the state of the grand draw to ended. All right. Let's see again. Okay, I'm glad to see the results list now. Cool. So these results under the Grand Draw 1 page will link you to the transparency page showing how every one of these prizes were selected. If you want to see what prize it is, that's actually stored in the NFT metadata, and that's linked to testnet, but I gotta fix that. So the very first one is the recent Muller e-bike, and the winning user is whoever that is. So yeah, basically it worked more or less the same as the weekly ones, but with the accommodation for the different winning ranges. So this is the output from the VRF randomness beacon, and then we take the remainder after dividing by all of the points scored by everyone in the in Algoland. And so in the candidates list here and in every Grand Prize transparency page, you're going to see that users by their identifier have not only the points that they have scored, but a winning range. So if we scroll up a little bit, we'll see that it's 4 to 5, 97, 4 to 5. So it's within the winning range of for this user. Yeah, that's more or less it. I am going to write up a little bit more about how this works. I've spoken a little bit on X. Again, we're going to need about 24 to 48 hours to run some compliance checks before we fully finalize these results. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this grand prize draw. And I'll see you next time.